Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is me doing a strategy test on trading in the direction of the trend and looking for my entry in a smaller time frame. As you guys can see here, these are areas that I label as the trend. And so what I'm doing is doing a little strategy test or go to gold. I put the date that I'm looking for. The first date is the 20th all the way till the 12th of, so November the 20th to December the 12th. We're going to go in the 5 minute window and we're going to look to get this strategy. So let's test it out and see what happens. I don't know. We might get blown away or we might get like blown out the water, like no way, no how, no chance. I'm trying to see if entering the lower time frame has value or should we just stay in the 30-minute window. Let's see. All right, so let's see where we're at. There we go, right there. We're in this trade, so I'm gonna speed it up. Hopefully, I still have the line there when we when the when the trend changed. I think I marked it, so I hope it's saved. According to the higher time frame, we were buyers. I mean sellers, sorry, and we became a seller at. Oh, hold on, hang on. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Stop the tape. Stop the tape. Let's stop the tape. We got to redo this. All right, because the settings for the trend in the 4 hour is different than for the um, the 5 minute window. So I have to change this. Change this to slow long. All right. So that's the trend based on the 5 minute window. So let me now save this again. I'll save it on that. And then let's run the tape. Let's see what happens. We're hopefully looking for that blue line to let us know when the trend is started. We were sellers, so let's see. Does these arrows recalculate too much for it to even be profitable? These arrows should be based on slow, long setting in the 5 minute window. I think we were, let me go back and look over here. The time that we were a seller based on this day would have been 1300 candles. So we got a little bit of time. So none of this is trading for us. I mean, unless you were going to be a buyer. Because prior to this, you were a buyer because the candle has not established, but we're not going to trade any of this right now. When you do strategy testing, it's giving you somewhat of accuracy, but not totally because these candles, these arrows, like you see, they're recalculating a lot. That's why you want to be careful and only trade higher time frame. But I'm trying to see if there's an establishment to do it in the lower time frame. All right, we're getting close. Let's see what happens. They started around the 1300 candle. They start establishing, yeah, 1300 or the 1700 candle. All right, that is not the trade there. We are still waiting. All right, it's starting to form. This is not the trade because the trend did not get. It's probably the arrow, but it didn't get confirmed until the close. That's why you don't want to take it. Do not take it when the arrows are forming because you can get trapped in a trade. So wait for it to close in the 4-hour window so it establishes it. Then you can come to this 5-minute window to find your entries. And then if you want to not worry about the whipsaw or the recalculation that's happening in the 5-minute window, once you enter the 5, go and see if it has established itself in, say, the 30-minute window, and then you can be in a higher time frame. So, all right, that it wicked up. It's probably going to push back down here real quick. I'm looking at the 4-hour window. It should be coming back down the hill after that big push up, getting ready to become a seller. And we're looking for the 1300 candle. It's supposed to be a blue line showing up here shortly. We won't be able to do a whole lot because, I don't know how much time we have. But we're going to try to find. Oh, no line. Okay, hold on. Hold on. What they say? Hang on. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Alright. We should be getting ready to take a trade. Probably right about now. So the next sell arrow we get, we should be looking to get in that trade. Because there it is right there. So I'm going to mark this here. This marks, 1340 marks first entry of the trade. So now that you have established yourself as a seller, do you trade from arrow to arrow? Do you grab a certain number of pips? What do you do? So we're just going to let it run, and then you have to determine what you're going to do. If you stop right there, that was 30 pips. Y'all know I'm always a fan of grabbing your quick 30 and getting out. But if you want to trade longer, you'll still be in this trade. When do you exit? You exit at the close of the opposite arrow that you entered in on. But you are a confirmed seller. And you are a seller until, what's today's date? Today is the 20th. So the 20th is a Wednesday. So you're a seller until Friday. So you held the trade. You feeling really good about yourself. But you guys saw the very small, very little drawdown that you ran into. Why? Because you took the trade in the direction of the trend. The trend did establish itself right at the 1300 candle. So some of you will still be in this trade. 1600 now. Hopefully by then you have locked up some pips. You'd up as much as 60 pips. It's pulling back. Be were smart. You secured the bag where you're saying, hey, I'm not going to get out until I get a close of the opposite arrow. If that's your life, that's all right. But understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Oh, he's probably made a good idea, made a good choice. 100 pips, ladies and gentlemen, from entering a trade from the 5-minute window. And we're still trading the 20th. This is still the 20th. This is crazy. Wednesday the 20th, I think. Yeah. Yep, Wednesday the 20th. Now we're about to possibly, yeah, I'm going to get into the end of the day. Of course, it's going to push back up on you guys, but by this time, you should have already been super happy. It went down as much as 95 pips. I'm curious to see where it's going to tell you to get out of this trade. But this, for video purposes, is a very good video. All right, there's that push back up. All right, she's spiking up on you. If you are going from signal to signal, you're not happy right now because she is taking all your pips back. So what's my suggestion? Find a destination. All right, there's your exit signal. But look how many pips you gave up in the process. All right, stop. That's your close. So if you waited, you got 8 pips. But if you went to a destination, 30, or if you want a bigger one, 60, or definitely 90. In the 5-minute window, 30, 60, 90, or any numbers in between are great numbers to grab your take profit. But going slow long to slow long is not a great idea. So you're out of this trade and you do not take this for a buy. Why? Because you look in the 4-hour window, you are still a seller. All right, let's see if we can do Thursday. We're going to do Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that was one trade on Wednesday for 30, 60, or 90 pips. All right. And if you would have missed that entry, you can always put your re-entry arrows in there. I didn't want to do it for this testing because they are a lot of arrows, but they're only for if you missed your entry, it would have gave you definitely several opportunities to re-enter this trade. All right, we are into, we're still in the Wednesday. We're about to quickly go into Thursday here shortly. I'm not sure how long. I'm going to let this go. We're about 13 minutes into this recording, and we avoided this buy. Getting whipsaw, because that's not the direction, guys. It's a great feeling. I'm telling you this. It is a great feeling to know that you do not have to chase every pip, or every signal, but you wait for your signal. And I'm doing this in the 5-minute window, so you know it'll have to work in the 30, 15, and in the 30. The setting for the 5-minute window that I'm doing this tape on is slow long. If you want the re-entry arrows, it would be fast long. Ooh, that just spiked up, but we didn't even care. Why? Because we're not looking for a buy. And we have not gotten a sell entry arrow to get into this trade. All right, it's Thursday, and we're looking for a trade. And when you're looking for your signals, if you want to take every arrow in that direction, it's up to you. If you want to wait for the volume time, that's up to you. If that's the case, you want to make sure you use your re-entry arrows because you may be asleep and then wake up to the trade already in motion. So you might want to just hold off there. We're about to go into Thursday, and we're looking for our next trade. We are in the next day, so you found one good trade that gave you 60, 30, 60, 90 pips. And depending on if you caught the re-entry, you caught you a good 30 pips. And this just on one pair. So imagine if you were looking at this and you saw these working on multiple pairs, at least 3 pairs, because now you can get in these trades often, and you can really scalp the market in the direction of your trend. All right, so we're waiting on another sale because the 4 hour window has not changed who we are. We are still sellers. That's the power of the higher time frame. Yep, there we go. We got a first signal there. All right, so if you want to take this trade is at 4:30. So this is an Asian session arrow. Do you want this trade? That's up to you. It may be slow because the volume is not there, but it is a signal. So let's take that trade there. We mark it. We know our exit is the opposite arrow going the opposite direction at close. We take whatever loss it gives us. We don't use the re-entries as exits if we entered on the big arrow. All right. Like I say, this entry came at the Asian session. So now what time is it? We are rolling. Yep, we're still in Asian session. I'm Central Standard Time. So at 6:15 candle, that is 10 o'clock, 10:30, 10:40 at p.m., 10:50 p.m., 11 o'clock. Of course, I'm not going to do 11:05. So it's 11 p.m., almost midnight. And we entered that trade, and it never told us to get out. You probably was asleep, and you probably said, I'm going to set a 30 pip stop loss, and I'm going to let it run because I can't stay awake doing this. And I'll set like say a 30 pip trail. So if it goes 30 pips, it'll break even. Worst case scenario, if it pushes down 30 pips, you broke even. So it's the 1 o'clock in the morning, you're probably getting ready to get up to do your London, and you realize, oh my goodness, I'm already in this trade. There's no reason for me to jump in because I'm already in. You up XYZ number of pips. All right. Still ain't told you to get out this trade yet. After you done won the first day, your confidence level should be a little higher. Like, hey, I'm just going to roll with it. Lean with it, rock with it. So here we go with the opening. All right, we London open now. And boom, you just got the close. All right. So stop. Asian session here. It went as much as 30 pips. So if you set your trail, all right, it trailed, it brought you to break even. So you actually netted about 6 pips because it never hit your stop loss. It hit your trail, activated your trail. So you trailing it, and then it came in and it touched your entry point, and you had to get out that trade. So you made about 6 pips in your sleep. Not bad. All right. If you'd have set a take profit of 30 pips, you would have hit your take profit. All right. So you can choose how you want to do that when you go to bed. Hey, if it goes 30 pips, take me out. If it goes 30 pips against me, I lost. If you trail it, possibility you could wake up and it's still running. But in this case, it broke. You made about 6 pips after the trail started. So that's not your trade. We're not taking this for a buy because we're still sellers according to the 4-hour window. So what? We wait. Do not take the trade against the trend, especially in this 5-minute window. All right, we are in the 12 o'clock hour, waiting for another sale opportunity. Oh, just saw the flash there. All right, we're going to wait for this candle to finish. There we go. We had established we're back selling. Let's see what happens. We're trading in the trend. Now, again, you guys make your decision. Am I going for 30 pips, 40 pips, 50 pips? I'm trading from signal to signal. If I go 30 pips, do I activate my trail? Let's see if it went down 30 pips yet. Yes, that was 30 pips. So if you were trailing now, basically the market is going to follow you 30 pips behind. So it's going to always keep you 30 pips from where the market is and where your stop loss is. So you're trapping in profits. If it pulls back 30 pips, then it's going to take you out. But it could take you out in a little bit of profit, or you could still be running. All right, so again, you got your trail activated, or if you went 30 pips, you happy because it went 30 pips. You excited. You got your pips. Game over. See, now you probably, if it goes back to that blue line, you're out of that trade. So you broke even, but if not, you're still in this trade because it still has not told you to get out of it. This is why I'm not a fan of trails because it just I don't know how far to trail it. But that it had a flash. Hold on, boom, close, exit. All right, we have to get out of this trade. Now, what we're gonna look at here is gonna see what did this trade end up actually doing. All right, so we entered here. It went 32 pips from your entry, and you got out at break even. If you held this trade for more pips like you did the previous trade, you didn't make any money on this trade. But if you went 30 pips, it was locked up. If you went 30 pips, was it 30 pips? Yeah, 30 pips on this one, you would locked it up. So now you would have been up 60 pips. All right, this is not your trade. Let's see what happens. Oh, whipsaw. This is where I'm talking. Y'all saw that little whipsaw? Wherever it closes, if this closes, that's your trade. Ooh wee. I know you're feeling like, what? All right. Let's establish here. Boom. It did a little whipsaw on you. Of course, it's the New York opening. Yeah, the 1700 candle. Y'all remember this used to be the no trade zone. What's your stop loss? The opposite arrow closing. That's your stop loss. Opposite arrow closing. There is your opposite arrow. It did not close. There's flashed again. It did not close. Still in this trade. You're feeling some kind of way, but you're still in the trade. Oh, it flashed again. Oh, 3 flashes. I need. Oh, it flashed again. Should I get out? You can. It's up to you. If I'm awake, I exit the trade at the close of the arrow after I entered it. Mmm. Put a little bit more trust in the system, people. Why? You're trading in the direction of the trend. So if you were going for another 30 pips, you would have had it. Boom. So right now, that was 3 trades that you would have been able to take for a total of 90 pips. I'm not going to tell y'all what your take profit is. Your take profit is whatever you want. If you're in the 5-minute window, remember, consistency is better than a big gift. And I'll leave it at that. That should tell y'all what you should be looking for when you're trading in the 5-minute window. 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. Take consistency over a big 90 pip move because those don't happen that often. So don't be mad if you lost pips. All right, man, I left those on the table because it gave you what you were looking for. You can't be looking for 30 and then get mad if it went 100. But then you can't be looking for 100 and get mad that it didn't give you any because you were looking for 100. Choose. There it is again. It flashed, but it didn't close. You're still in this trade. Now, some of you would have probably used your re-entry arrows to re-enter this trade again. That was up to you. It was definitely available. I'm not going to show it because it's too many arrows, but if you put the fast, long arrows on, you will find that it will Oh, there it is. Those who held that trade, you pretty fired up, aren't you? Yeah, you're up as much as 50 pips. But I know you're feeling some kind of way. But you up. We still are sellers, y'all. It's easy for me to say that because I can see where it's going, but you don't. This would probably been 30. I'm almost confident that you would have found a re-entry somewhere in here. That would have been another 30. As that person, one person holding that trade for 90, 100 pips, you done entered it twice for 60. All right, we're now into Friday. All right, you end the day right there because you roll the trade up and you end on up with only 30 something pips. That person who took 30 probably did it multiple times. All right, you are now out of this trade. Well, ooh, I don't know what that was, but it was Asian sessions. All right, let's see. Look at one more. This we're in the Friday, the 22nd. You're still a seller, guys. You are still a seller. You took this trade here in the Asian session. Let's establish it. This is, yep, Asian session. This is what I'm talking about. Could happen in the Asian session. Now you have to exit that trade with that little loss there. Man, why can't I take that for a buy? You're not an established, uh, you're not a buyer. Arrow hasn't closed. It probably flashed, but it didn't close. These are not your pips. Not your pips. Even though 20, only 20 some pips anyway. Not your pips. What did you lose? You entered here and you lost what, 3 pips? Telling you to get out. Waiting for your trade. It's now we're in the London, going into the London session. It is currently, yep, London. Looking for your entry. And this is the 5 minute window. So if any of your arrows are going to jump all over the place, it's going to do it in the 5 minute window. And as y'all can see, there's not been that many jumping around in just the 3 days of me running this tape. Now I'm going to finish it off with just 3 days because we're already 30 minutes into this tape. So when you run back tape, it can just take a while. But you guys can run whatever back tape you want. You don't just jump in at the open of the London anymore. You wait for your entry, guys. If you was looking for re-entries, you didn't have one here. All right. Stan, has the trend changed? This thing done went up, what, 70 pips from that entry. I don't know. Look in the 4 hour window. Has it established and closed an arrow? It might have flashed it, but it may have not established it as a bona fide trend change. It is going up quite a bit of pips. But according to me looking at the 4 hour window, That was just a nice big candle pushing up. Yeah, it pushed up quite a bit. So it pushed up about 90 pips in the 4-hour window. So I know you've been feeling some kind of way, and then now you're thinking, shoot, forget that. I'm finna start taking these trades the opposite direction. I'll just get out when it tells me to get out. That's that danger you run into of pip greedy, because you up and you feel the need that you gotta get those pips. You only trade it if it's in that direction. That's just my suggestion. Yes, you've been up all day and you ain't caught not one trade yet for this particular trade. Why? Because it established itself. It didn't give you one. All right, here's the opening of the New York starting to get going here. There's a possible trade. There's a possible trade opportunity right here. You enter there because you're still a seller. Let's see what happens. It moved and disappeared. What happens when that happens? When it moves and it disappears, you have two options. One, exit the trade because it's gone, or two, let it hit your stop loss because it may return. Those are your two options. Choose. Let me put, if it disappears, because I normally don't have a stop loss, but if it disappears, I will go ahead and establish one to say 30 pips, because my exit is normally the close of the other arrow, the opposite direction. But if I get this move here, what I do is say, okay, I'm only willing to give up 30. All right. Because I'm still a seller. Because if you jump out the trade too early, you just gave up pips. So it came right back to your original entry. Those 13 pips you recovered. And now you're looking for 30 pips. Once again, because you are a seller still. Where's 30 pips? 30 pips is somewhere right there. I'm going to call it right there. Yeah, about there. That's about 30. Looking, this is now again, y'all. This is based on one pair. If you're looking at multiple pairs, boom, you'd hit your take profit. Y'all see how this works? You patiently waited for your trade and got it. Even though it went 90 some pips the other way, that was not your trade. If you're going for more than 30, you're still in this trade. All right. If you was trailing, you're still in this trade. But this is still your trade. You waited for the best trade and you traded in the direction of the trend. And I'm doing this tape on the 5-minute window. If we did this on the 30, we'd be on longer video, or we do it on the 15. Woo! This is where you 30 pip traders, pip wise, don't feel nothing. It's okay. You was only looking for 30 pips. You got it. If you trailed it, you got more. All right? But trails, they get hunted down. I mean, look, that move was, let me see, from your entry, that was about 75. So again, y'all find your take profit somewhere between 30 and 60 pips. Find it. It's going to be rare that it runs 100 on you, but run it. I like 30 pips. It's very consistent. It's compoundable, and it hits often. 50, 60, 70 pips don't hit as often because you can catch 30 pips even in the Asian session. So the person that is doing steady 30 is probably up more pips than the one that's trying to catch the big moves. I'm just saying. That person may gloat about 75 pips. That's exciting. But the person saying, man, I've been consistently getting 30 pips when I find my trade in the direction of the trend. All right, guys, we're about to end the day off. I'm going to end this video off right here. As y'all can see, we had one trade that lost, and it was for 3 pips because all the trades we took in 3 days was in the direction of the trend, and this was just with one pair, just gold. So if you have the ability to look at 3 or 4 pairs at the same time, then guys, you would have been able to multiply those pips with these pips and would have been doing some really good compounding. Or if you were just literally trying to compound every week, each week you have a lot size and you're that lot size every day that week, and then at the end of the week you put that in there based on the amount of the daily growth, and it's going to give you a new lot size for the next week, and then you can weekly compound trading in the direction of the trend. Hopefully this live video with back testing was helpful for you guys. You can clearly see how you can trade our system utilizing the direction. I told you we were trending bearish and we waited for that trade. As you can see, we only lost one trade in the 5-minute window. This can be taken in the 30. You still will be in this trade. It's funny. This could be taken in the 30 minute because we're rolling into Monday. So this is now a new day, a new week. If you held that trade, which I don't suggest, but guys, we are going to a new week. So what did we look at? Let me see if I can shrink this. Let's see here. This is the beginning of the trend based on the 4-hour window. All right. Based on the 4-hour window. Let me see if I can establish it here. Yep. That was the trend. We traded from here to there. And we established that of course, you got to put it on the right settings, fast, short. There's my arrows. So from there to there is just what the video you just watched. And I knew no matter what was going on, even though we had that one, oh, that ain't the date, I'm sorry. What the date was. Let's go back here to the tape. This was November. Let's go to November so I can give you the right one. November 20, right here. Started right there. That is, we traded from here to here. And y'all saw that big 90 pip move right there. That was not our trade because we were sellers still. No matter what we saw, we were still sellers. And so we were able to establish that no matter what, Wednesday, we were a seller. Thursday, we were a seller. Friday, we were a seller. And we were able to capture all the pips that we were looking for. Why? Because we traded in the direction of the trend. So guys, hopefully this was very helpful for you. If you're interested in joining our community to learn how you can trade the TFU trend trading strategy, which is an extremely high winning percentage, you want to get with the person who invited you out. If you're watching this on YouTube, then I'm the person who invited you. My email is below. My text message is there. Get with me. If you're already watching this video because you're on the team, then you clearly saw why it doesn't matter. If you do enter on the 5, the 15, or the 30, we have specialized settings for that. That will give you those proper settings. I'll tell you guys who are interested. Our settings for the 5-minute window is something we call slow long. If you don't have any idea what that is, you got to join us. If you're in the 15-minute window, your arrows of entry is fast long. And if you want to enter these trades off the 30-minute window, the most conservative way, your settings will be fast short. We also have re-entry arrows that, I'll tell you guys later. That's part of the team. But guys, that's enough information for you if you are watching this on YouTube. Thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for your thumbs down. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos about what we're doing in this community. I am focused on Project 1000, helping 1,000 people be profitable traders in the industry. I'm not here to compare my strategy with other people's strategies. I really don't care if yours is better than mine. I just want people who want something and they need to see something that is profitable. If you're already on the team, you already know there's nothing to prove. But if you're interested, I'm accessible. I'm not a robot. Email me, text me. Let's get you set up for 2020. Peace.